Do not believe the myth that all schools cost the same and all instructors are scary, even though the Google reviews might lead you to believe that. This school gave me this and they're like, what do you think this is? Like, hey guys, it's Yui here. I hope you're having a great day, and I wanted to give you an update on my driver's license situation. So this was one of the big goals that I had on my bucket list this year. I was determined to get licensed this year. Now, I started the search for a good driving school at the start of the year, and I just couldn't find one. The ones that seemed quite good were really far away, and the ones that were close by, I went to a couple, and I just didn't really like what they had to say. It just felt really old school and like I wasn't gonna fit in there. But here's a clip of me from a few months ago walking over to a driver's school to see if I can enroll, and me going over the insecurities I have regarding driving schools here and how I felt about it after I visited. Take a look. Alright guys, I am on my way to the driving school because that is one of the big things on my bucket list this year, is to get my driver's license, and I'm so incredibly nervous. So I think this is a good time to reflect on why I'm so nervous. It's because I look completely Japanese, but my reading and writing in Japanese is not super good. Because I grew up overseas, but I don't look like it. So I just kind of feel dumb sometimes. And it stresses me out. So, I don't know, I have so many feelings, but here we go. So I've made it home after going to the driving school. The lady was super nice. I felt very relaxed and welcomed at the school, which was really nice. And she was going over like the price and the things you have to do in order to graduate and things like that, which was all good, nothing new. But apparently a lot of the schools are backed up with students right now because I think they were closed during COVID. Like, people couldn't get their license because you have to drive and the instructor is there, and like, you know, at first it wasn't even like, even with a mask you couldn't be around people. So all the people that wanted to get licensed throughout COVID are kind of doing it now. And she said in the last few years, like, there's no off season where it's easier to get a slot for your driving test or to practice your driving. It's just been consistently busy throughout the entire year for the last few years. And she doesn't see that changing really anytime soon. So hearing that, I asked her how long she thought it would take for me to actually get my license. And she said, probably I'm looking at around 6 months, maybe more, depending on how many slots that I can get successfully, because I need 31 hours of driving before I can take a test. And she showed me the system and stuff. Like, it's completely booked. It's kind of a luck of the draw kind of thing. Like, if you get a slot, you're lucky. And then she explained the cancellation policy, and, you know, I can go in the morning and wait for someone to cancel so I get a slot and I can drive. Seems like a lot of these time commitments that are like really hard. So I was gonna enroll today. I was all ready to. I had everything that I needed to enroll, but I actually got all the paperwork that I needed, and I just asked if I can just think on it, because 6 months is a long time. I was hoping to be driving within like half that time if possible. And in Japan there are places where you can go get a license if you go for like 2 weeks and you just like do 2 full weeks of driving only. So it's a more concentrated time commitment, but everything's just kind of done in one go. And I'm thinking if that might be better with the situation that it is, because 6 months or more, like, I'm not feeling confident I'll get my license at all this year if that's the case. So yeah, definitely thinking about it. But for now, I have not enrolled, which sucks because I kind of wanted to just kind of, you know, get enrolled and get that ball rolling. I was all ready to do that, but I didn't feel fully confident in that move today. And because of the things I've heard and because of the time situation, it just didn't feel right in that moment. And I really wanted to do more research before I committed to it and paid, you know, thousands of dollars to do this. So that's where I'm at today. As you saw, that was the general feeling I had with the school, and another one that I saw earlier on in the year. I just couldn't find one that seemed to fit me. So I did a little more digging, and boy, am I glad I did. So I thought you have to either go to a physical school and do everything the way everyone always has, or go to the 2-week school in the middle of nowhere to get licensed. Turns out there's a couple other options, and I found a school that fit me really, really well. So the school that I'm going to now is not a physical school. They don't have their own practicing area and places to take exams, and they don't have classrooms. There's no physical building. So there are many practice areas throughout Tokyo that you can go to practice with your instructor. So you're just kind of sent off there, and an instructor meets you out there with a car. They take you to the practice area and you practice together. The only con of this is that you do have to go a little bit far out. For me, I go to Saitama, and that takes me about an hour 15 one way to get there. But honestly, I don't really mind. And the reason I don't mind is because the pros outweigh the cons. So the pros for me is that this school, they will take your availability and create a full schedule for you for the next 2 months leading up to your actual driving test. I didn't want to fight for driving slots with the instructor or have to wake up early and go to a school and wait all day to see if someone maybe cancels so I can get a slot to drive. I just didn't want to do that. And this way I had everything planned out so I could make my own plans and I could commit to the ones that I've made with my driving school too. So I got in touch with them to enroll with them in late May. It is now August, and just giving you an update on what has happened. So the way my schedule worked out, the first thing that I had to do was pass my first written test. And here's a clip from the morning of the written test. I was very nervous. Good morning, it's test day, written test day for me. I have been studying so much, but I'm still really nervous because I feel like there's an endless amount of questions they can ask you, and it's just, I've taken all these practice tests and the questions are like 70% very similar, and then the 30% is just I've never seen this in my life, and they're such small things that honestly I feel don't matter when it comes to driving, but apparently it does. So I'm very nervous. Woke up very early to review a little more, and hopefully today goes well. So this is what I've been scared of, is the written exam, and one of the biggest reasons why I haven't tried for my driver's license. So however this goes, I can say I did it and I'm proud. Because I had to take my written test at an official driver's license center, I couldn't take any footage. It didn't seem like the time or the place to do that. But I did successfully pass on the first try. It was very scary, but it was an all-day situation. I was gone morning to basically early evening, and it was a lot. And then I got to driving. I've been doing practice drives in the little practice areas, and that's been going well. And the reason it's probably going well is that I used to drive in Canada. I drove for maybe a year and a half or two before moving to Japan, and it was a part of my daily routine. I had to drive to get places. So it's not that hard for me. It's just getting reacquainted with the car and learning all the different rules that Japan has. And there are many. So in mid-July, I actually passed my first driving test that was done inside of a course in Western Tokyo. It's a really big practice course, but you drive through there to prove that you have the technique down, you know the rules, and once you pass that, you can start driving on the road. Now, I was really nervous going into the driving exam because the instructors had told me that the percentage of people that pass on the first try is 20%. And that's a really, really low number. And if you have to reschedule it, everything gets pushed back. So I really didn't want to do that. So I'm really proud and really happy that I did it on the first try. And now we are officially in August, and I have just started to practice on the actual road. I drove on the road for the first time last Friday. And that was really, really fun. I really do enjoy driving. I think it really opens up possibilities. I know I have to be careful and I have to be mindful of driving in a city with such small roads, so many pedestrians, so many cyclists everywhere that just like don't follow rules. But more than that, I really, really am excited, and I think it's just so much fun to be able to drive around. So that is currently where I'm at. I am in the process of studying for my final written exam while practicing for my final driving exam, which actually takes place on the real roads. So I should have an update for you for that, hopefully by the end of September or so. But that's how it's going. It looks like I will be able to get my license at the very least within the year, which is awesome, because that'll mean I check off something really important to me on my bucket list this year. So that is my update. If you want to know anything else about the school I'm going to or any information regarding just driving schools in general, I'd be happy to share my thoughts on that. I'm not an expert by any means, but I am going through the process right now, so I might have a little bit more insight if anyone is interested. It is August, guys. We are more than halfway through the year at this point, so I hope you are making yourself proud. I hope you are checking things off of your bucket list, and I hope you're having an awesome summer, and talk to you again soon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye. Oh my gosh. This is something... the school gave me this. I have to return it once I get my license. And they're like, what do you think this is? Like, they gave me this last in my registration process. And I'm like, is it a steering wheel? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay. And you're supposed to do, like, mental training, like, imagine yourself driving. It's like, okay, I signal and then I check and then I do this and this. So it's to help you really practice driving when you're not in a car. So I thought this was really cute. It's actually kind of nice though, because after driving yesterday, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can't change lanes before I do XYZ. I should do this. So rather good idea, but also very, very funny. And I've never seen this before. And the fact that it's recycled and I have to return this so the next person can use it, I don't know. I just like it.